Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And tonight we are going to be talking to the men. I know it's long overdue and most anticipated conversation. What's the deal with men? Where are all the good men? Why are they disappearing? What can we do about it? And how come we don't have so many men of value? Now, I am not going to sit here and pretend to be a man of value so you can understand what it is men go through. It's very difficult. It's hard out here for people. I'm just going to talk about what I have observed and shout out to all the men who came and spoke with me very openly and freely about some of the things that they don't like, they don't appreciate, all of the things that they've been facing. All the men who made comments on my channel, thank you guys all for being a part of the community to shed some light on the situation. I just want to say that I still have hope for women, even though some of the women who have come, a lot of the women who've come up on my channel sound absolutely insane. But I hear not insane like you need to be in a straitjacket in a crazy house, but just a little bit like, I don't really think that you really thought this through before you came up on here. And I have to be very, very honest with you. I have all but done everything that I could to restrain myself from answering some of these people because I realize that it's a trap on my part to actually attempt to try to have a discussion with somebody who actually just wants to prove their point and be right instead of actually looking for information to change something about their situation that they're not entirely happy about. And women don't have the same plight as men in that regard. They are not. Okay. Shout out to one of my subscribers who talked about having a safe space for men to talk about women and all of the dirt that women have done to them. I don't agree with the the idea of talking bad about women in general, but I agree with the principle of having a safe space to voice your pain and your grievances. Because this is one of the things that men absolutely do not have until it is absolutely too late. Outside of Alcoholics Anonymous and therapy, which is something that is still taboo across races of men for a certain generation to go through, this is something that we need to start to encourage and really speak to as something that can benefit men on a whole. Now, having said that, the statistics for male suicide, depression, and um, health is actually of most concern to me because I have four brothers and a husband and nephews and cousins who stand to be at great risk, regardless of what race they are or where they live. People talking about how we live in a man's world and the patriarchy. Where? Where? Women have had more rights and more say in the history of everything than we have now. We have so much help and support. And I know I was watching a video the other day that women are groomed to be more sensitive, nurturing, and sociable. We're actually not groomed. We are biologically designed that way. And I don't have time to get into the biology of it because that is just a horse of a different color. But men are not designed that way. And what we are looking for in men these days is not necessarily what man traditionally was meant to be. And since we no longer have the amount of fathers, husbands, father figures, male role models like we did 20, 30, 40 years ago across the board. I'm not even going to talk about, well, I'm here specifically to talk about the Black male experience, but we don't even have that on a whole. So you have whole generations of men growing up with no role models outside of what they see on television or in the classroom. And most of those people are women, anyways, without role models, without anyone there to guide them into manhood. And a part of it is, and I'm going to say it in probably going to run the risk of being demonetized or even deplatformed is that it is not even allowed to talk about the differences between men and women anymore. This, what used to be biological, has become political. And this is a part of the reason why a whole generation of children will grow up confused. Now, I'm going to talk specifically about men who have been incarcerated. And I'm not trying to campaign for any sympathy or empathy because I do believe that accountability is the first step towards owning your truth and narrative and moving forward in a successful way. But I will say that the staggering results of men who have been incarcerated, Black men who have been incarcerated, when asked what it is that they could have had in their lives that could have made a difference in the way, in the outcomes and decisions that they made, the, the outstanding, resounding answer was having someone there to love me, having my father by my side, someone to teach me right from wrong. Because what you end up having when men don't grow up with love, and we as women, we don't even consider when we talk about pouring into our relationships or a man knowing how to love me properly, we don't even consider that men are just not taught to do that. And some of us have sons and we raise them to be the men that we end up despising. We don't understand that sometimes we have to acknowledge that there's a difference between a man and a woman, and that means there's certain things that we're just not going to be able to do for our sons, and that we need to be cognizant, regardless of what our situation is with the baby's father, about that inevitable fact, and make um, preparations or steps towards dealing with that situation in a responsible way. Instead, we become fathers and leave motherhood for somebody else to do, if that. And our fathers um was supposed to be the first bench so the first bookmark, before the first benchmark to show us exactly what fatherhood was supposed to look like, what manhood was supposed to look like. And because he wasn't there for us either, we tend to bring that baggage and drama and lack of male presence into our relationships and project it and force that abuse onto our children, even directly or indirectly. But wait, because you will not know that you have fucked up until it's too late. And when you realize that it is too late, it will be too late. um, I really believe that this is something that we need to start to think more clearly about and speak to our men from a place of love, sympathy, empathy, and understanding, irregardless of what they have done, because there is no us without them. And if we don't start to talk in that tone, in that way, acknowledging those hard truths, then we will continue to be the women that are unprotected and the most vulnerable and exposed in society. I hope that you guys like this content. I will be back very shortly with another video because part 2 needs to be resolved, but I gotta go get some stuff done and hopefully we'll have time to do this again pretty soon. So please, of course, if you don't already know what to do, please make sure to stay safe and stay free.